Clip of the day.
Hold on a second, John. Let's go forward. Ooh, year 2030. We're in 2030. We're still talking about it.
To the gate, to the gate, to the climate gate.
Only now we're really doing something about it. Now, I've been paying attention to this new CNN division called 2 Degrees. We played a clip from that last time about, it's all about the global warming and stuff. And the title of this, although interestingly not really mentioned, and I'll just play a little bit of this clip, does eating bugs help fight climate change?
Believe it or not, this could be the farm of the future. I'm standing in a warehouse on the side of the highway. We're not talking about cows or chickens. We're talking crickets. These aren't for your pets. These are for you and me to put in our mouths to eat.
And this follows the familiar format where, and you're seeing this everywhere. The format of the bugs meme is, boy, this is going to change our lives. It's going to save the world. And then you always have a cute girl doing the report, and she always winds up eating some bugs.
So this right here, this is a cricket farm.
Right.
They're in open cages.
Yeah.
This is not what I expected it would look like.
Were you thinking free range?
Yeah, free range cricket. When most people think of bugs, they think of a nuisance, not nutrients. Why is it so taboo here in the States?
It's not so much that it's taboo, it's just been unconsidered. There was the law in Maine that you couldn't feed prisoners lobster more than twice a week because it was considered inhumane.
Do you remember this? Was there ever a law that you couldn't feed lobster to inmates because it was considered inhumane?
I don't remember this.
And now people pay $30 to $50 a pound for it.
Now, this guy's an entrepreneur. He's like, hey, I'm going to get on this bug ban. He has a nice little setup, too. He's in Ohio.
He's probably an ichthyologist.
This looks very different than, the cattle farms that I drive by.
I mean, this is amazingly space efficient. You're using so many fewer resources to produce a pound of insects compared to a pound of soybeans or a pound of beef. Anything cold-blooded is always going to have an advantage in feed efficiency over something that's warm-blooded.
Oh, then we should eat Hillary Clinton. She's cold-blooded.
I definitely hear the chirping of the cricket.
Oh, yeah, right? I think it's very
Tolerable.
Relaxing.
Right, no,
yeah,
like...
All right, so that goes on and on and on.
I love bugs! Bugs.
Just letting you know it's out there. They continue.
Tastes like poo.
And before I move to the second part of this segment, I live on the 15th floor here in the skyscraper, as you call it, John. How do crickets get up on the 15th floor? I have crickets on my balcony.
Really?
Yeah,
they can fly, a little bit.
15 stories?
Well, no.
Yeah, and Austin has a cricket problem around this time of year, and you can walk into a store, and there'll just be you'll see a black line against the wall, and it'll just be crickets in stores, just half dead, like. I'm sorry, half prepared, I should say. They're not half dead; they're half ready to eat.
I'm looking at Snopes, by the way, concerning that lobster tall tail.
Yeah.
It seems to be debatable.
Okay. Well, Snopes is debatable by itself.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to say that Snopes is perfect.
So Al Gore comes back on the stage. He might as well. I mean, there's a lot of crazy going on. We've got people running for president. So it's perfect time because the way I see it, this is timing on his part to jump into the media focus because he was a presidential candidate. He was vice president. And he has a message. So they'll pull him on to talk about all kinds of things. But, of course, he is really talking about climate change. And this is a very rare Ask John. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
It's a two-part. I don't have a jingle for you. I don't think we have an Ask John jingle. But it's a two-parter. I'm going to ask you. I'm going to stop this for 20 seconds and ask you a question.
We're still, on a global basis, putting 110 million tons of heat-trapping pollution into the atmosphere every single day. And the cumulative amount of man-made global warming pollution is now trapping as much extra heat energy in the atmosphere as would be released by 400,000.
400,000 what? And now, again, the question for you, John C. Dvorak. that 110 million tons of pollution we're putting into the air every single day is equal to 400,000 what?
Volcanoes.
Would you like to try another guess? 400,000 every day, mind you, every day.
Atomic bombs.
My God, he wins.
As would be released by 400,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every day.
Every day.
That's a conservative estimate, believe me.
And that's a conservative estimate.
Who buys this crap?
Listen to this.
Conservative estimate, believe me, if the deniers or denialists were able to pick apart that statistic, they would have.
I never heard this crazy statistic.
Heard it either.
I'm liking it.
They'd pick it apart if they could.
It's a conservative estimate. Most of it goes into the ocean, so when a hurricane like the one off the...
Oh, John, it goes into the oceans. Okay, well, hold on. What happens then?
East Coast here right now picks up energy from the warmer oceans. It enters a new category of threat. That's what happened with Superstorm Sandy. When the ice melts and the sea level rises, I was in Miami the last 3 days. There were fish swimming in the streets of Broward County.
Okay, so we released...
this guy's got to enter the race.
Conservative estimate, 400,000 Hiroshima-class nuclear bombs that are in the ocean, and because of that, the ice is melting, the seawater level rises, and there's fish swimming in Miami. There's fish on the streets, I tell you. We need to do something.
How can people keep a straight face with this guy?
Yeah, it's fantastic, man.
400,000 A-bombs a day.
Conservative estimate.
Conservative estimate.
It's conservative. Yeah, it's a conservative estimate. I'm telling you, there's really nothing going on.
Wow.
Now, in the meantime...
A borderline clip of the day. Borderline clip of the day.
You know, honestly, I had thought I might have gotten like a full clip of the day.
Borderline clip of the day.
Okay, all right.
Clip of the day.
Now, along with this little ditty comes two things. First of all, there's a new meme. But just quick jump back. I missed this.
Can I stop for a second?
Yeah.
Stop the show.
Hold on a second. Stop the show. Stop the show. Stop the show. Stop the show.
You wanted a clip of the day, I understand, from what I've heard, for that last clip, which I gave you, borderline clip of the day. But because you comboed it with an Ask John, it diminished the impact of the clip itself.
Okay. I think it was worth it. I forego the clip of the day by having you guess actually what it was about.
There you
go. Back to the bugs for 1 second. There is a new... Where will you eat these bugs? Where will you first witness them? Yes, they're already
nice bug restaurant. I've been to a lot of restaurants that apparently serve cockroach.
And do you know what they're called?
Chinatown.
Do you know what these restaurants will be called?
Cockroach restaurants.
Pestaurant.
Greasy spoons.
A pestaurant.
Pestaurant.
Yes, pestaurant.
No.
Yes, there are now restaurants calling themselves pestaurants.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. Okay, no. Then don't look at the show notes because you'll be severely disappointed.
What idiot?
Yeah.
What they call Rat Haven. I mean, what idiot is going to call their facility a pestaurant?
You know, subsidized restaurants, I guess. Someone will do it. It was a pretty big story in Australians, news.com.au. A former climate modeler for the government's Australian greenhouse office with 6 degrees in applied mathematics, Dr. Evans has unpacked the architecture of the basic climate model which underpins all climate science. I believe the guy has standing if you have 6 degrees in applied mathematics. And he was a climate modeler for the Australian greenhouse. So this is the guy under the hood of the climate models.
One of those, modeler.
He has fixed 2 errors, and the newly corrected model finds the climate sensitivity to carbon dioxide is much lower than was thought. Ooh.
Stop. Don't tell anybody this.
It turns out the UN's Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change has overestimated future global warming by as much as 10 times. Yes, he says CO2 has an effect, but it's about a fifth or maybe even a tenth of what the IPCC says it is. CO2 is not driving the climate. It caused less than 20% of the global warming in the last few decades. Dr. Evans says his discovery ought to change the world. Yes, it will, because you will be removed from it, Dr. Evans.
Yes, you will be executed in the morning.
It will change your world for sure, sir. His discovery explains why none of the climate models used by the IPCC reflect the evidence of recorded temperatures. The models
Or
have
the tide, by the way, and I can do a tide check.
Oh, hold on a second. I'd love to have a tide check. Let's hold on a second. Oh, here we go.
Because of what's happening in Greenland right now, the maps of the world will have to be redrawn. This is what would happen to San Francisco Bay.
Look out your window, baby! John C. Dvorak with the tide check on global warming, climate change, looking out the window. What do you see?
I'm looking at the San Francisco Bay right from my window, and I can see the mud flats.
Yes.
At the zero sea level freeway going by, and the mud is still there.
Because
There's no
of what's
water.
happening in Greenland right now, the maps of the world will have to be redrawn. This is what would happen to San Francisco Bay.
Look out the window, baby! Thank you, John. Thank you, John. We're still safe.
At least for a couple more shows.
So the new and improved climate model shows CO2 is not the culprit in recent global warming, but what is? Dr. Evans has a theory. Solar activity, what he calls albedo modulation, the waxing and waning of reflected radiation from the sun, is likely the cause of global warming. Wow, Captain Obvious.
I think that we've heard this before.
He predicts global temperatures.
It can't be the sun.
He predicts global temperatures, which have plateaued, will begin to cool significantly beginning between 2017 and 2021. The cooling will be about 0.3 degrees centigrade in the 2020s. Some scientists have even forecast a mini ice age. If Dr. Evans is correct, then he has proven the theory on carbon dioxide wrong and blown a hole in climate alarmism. Well, we'll see.
Well,
but he's one of the modelers. That's what I like about this story. That is a little different.
That's why. So where'd you get that story?
I told you it's from news.com.au from the Australia. It's a Murdoch property.
It's from Australia.
Yeah. Well, the guy is from Australia. He was on the Australian government's greenhouse office.
Who's picked up this story in the United States? Has any of the three networks? Well, I can attest that they haven't. But has AP or Reuters?
Let me find out. Hold on.
Let's take a look.
Okay, let's see. His name is Dr. What was his name? Dr. David Evans. So let's take a look.
Too many David Evanses out there.
Well, Dr. David Evans, let's see what pops up.
When he has all these degrees, shouldn't it be Dr. David?
I don't know. But there are a lot of dentists named Dr. Evans.
It's a very common dental name.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. SkepticalScience.com. Climate misinformer. Okay. That's the top link.
Climate misinformer? So the guy's full of crap? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah. Here's a list. Climate misinformer, David Evans. Below are many of the climate myths used by David Evans, plus how often each myth has been used.
Oh, he's a serial myth maker.
That, and he's a damn denier.
The science is in.
Science!
So in other words, this is not being covered.
Watching the Deniers, another cool website. Are we on that? We should be on Watching the Deniers.
No, we're too low end.
Who else is on Watching the?
We're not. I don't think we're official deniers. We're mockers.
Well, we don't deny that climate changes. We just we're mockers. There you go.
Yeah, climate mockers.
Well, not a single person has picked this up in the United States. Even to call him a mainstream, that is, even to call him a denier.
That's the way it's going to be. Yeah. Only on the No Agenda Show can you get this obscure information.
That's right.
Which allows you to have to get into arguments with your friends.
Yes.
We're all in.
And I also put for good measure in there, because it popped up again, I put in the true numbers on the polar bear population.
Those things are getting out of control. We're going to have to hunt them for food.
Yeah, I just love it, seeing a little polar bear on his little piece of ice. Oh, I'm so sad. But the polar bear doesn't want to be in ice. He wants to swim. He doesn't want to be in the ice. Anyway, go ahead and look at that.